Go!
3, 2, 1. Ho, ho, ho. What'd you think? Yeah, maybe?
No.
Welcome to 3, 2, 1 Ghost, everybody. I'm your host with a silent G, joined always by Natalie. Hey, Natalie. Happy holidays.
Hi. Feeling much more in the holiday spirit now after that
Then,
intro.
oh, okay. Yeah, well, I try to be festive. I was like thinking, do I jump in with the voice? Yes, let's just go in with the voice. I don't know. So how's I don't know, how's your holiday season been going? We're in the thick of it now.
Busy, busy as always. It always takes me a while to really embrace it, but I like seeing Christmas lights and all those kind of things. Usually I do get more excited by seeing skeletons in people's yards and things of that nature, but yeah, feeling festive. I've been feeling the Christmassy horror movies, and I think this one got me even more in the spirit than Krampus did. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I think so too. And shout out to just the fucking real ones that live a couple blocks from me that have a giant skeleton in their yard, and I moved into this neighborhood in March, and it's been up the whole time. So
Do they change it like per holiday to be on theme?
no, I don't think so.
Is,
It's just there.
is it just a regular size skeleton, or is this like one of those massive skeletons?
Massive ones, with a massive
Oh,
skull, It yeah, it's probably, I don't know, 12
12
feet,
feet?
15. Yeah.
Nice.
It's a big ass fucking skeleton.
Good for them.
Yeah, good for them. I, I've got a new place, in a place that, actually like makes sense. It's a house, it's not an apartment. So I like put lights on the outside, and while I was doing it, I was thinking like, this is gonna work out fine, whatever. Mixed results at best. We'll see. This is a trial year, and looking at them now, I'm like, they've held up. It looks okay. I I
Just okay.
could have certainly done more, but I won't. And
Start
and
small,
that's
work your way
okay.
up.
I think so too. It's not like
Yeah.
Halloween decorations where like I have, I've got all the lights, and then I have like all the, the witches and the skeletons and the Grim Reapers like hanging and stuff.
Hmm.
And then we do, the inside with, I still have the black garland on my piano from our Halloween decorations, just because it just looks so good. With like black roses. It's very nice. But I would not give that same effort for Christmas decorations, like putting things out. I did see one frightening looking Jack Frost situation at a Home Depot, and considered it briefly, but I don't think my wife would have let me walk out with that. Maybe she
You're
would.
gonna
She's
need
supportive.
to you're gonna need to share. Did you take a photo of it
Yeah.
or with it?
Yeah.
Hopefully. Okay, good. We
I'll
can
share
we
it.
can share we can share that on Instagram. Um okay, so here's the thing with Halloween decorations versus Christmas decorations. I love Christmas decorations, like outside like lights. I love Christmas lights. I love driving by and seeing other people's Christmas lights. Minimal effort in my house for Christmas lights, but I think the reason why it's so much harder to decorate for Christmas than like Halloween can be like messy and offbeat, and Christmas feels very neat and like buttoned up. So I feel like that I don't shine in, these meticulous lights and perfectly placed, like cute things. It doesn't really, I don't know, it just doesn't really work for me. So we try and we put up lights, but not like Clark Griswold style or anything like that, which is the
Yeah.
dream, really.
shout out to my cousin Kevin, on the East Coast. He like says that he's that dude on the block
He's
where he,
Clark.
yeah, oh yeah, and he'll cite that movie specifically, like he is, Clark Griswold in this situation, and I'll have to show you. It's
Shout out to Kevin.
pretty. Yeah, I know. It's pretty miraculous. I like, especially watching what he does and then seeing mine. I'm like, you know what? I think there are different types of effort and both could be on display. I think they both work.
Yeah.
So, and he's got kids too. So it's the whole thing, I'm sure, is super, super dope for them and for everybody in the
Yeah.
neighborhood. But yeah, I don't know. I never knew someone that like that they're the guy that they've got the house, just because I know that there's those, we'd always have to go out to all the other, like there's those for certain neighborhoods and stuff. I know there's like
Yeah, where you drive and they call them like Candy Cane Lane and things like
mhm.
that. Yeah. I will say one more thing about Christmas decorations. The most decorated house for Christmas I've ever seen. Gotta bring up cousin Vinny every now and then. My cousin Vinny's parents went ham with Christmas decorations, and not just like not the outside, but the inside of the house. There were these things that they would hang on the ceiling that could only be described as like colorful, shiny, just I don't even Vinny and I called them dingle dangles, which is like the weirdest name, but that's what we called them. And they hung from the whole ceiling. So just imagine like hundreds of these things hanging from the ceiling, just colorful, festive. They had these animatronic little dolls that held like candles and they looked like carolers around the house. Like, and then are you familiar with what tinsel is? That like silver thin
Yeah.
material that you hang on a Christmas tree. My aunt would put boxes on boxes on boxes. If you thought that tree was green, you're fucking wrong. It was silver. It was platinum after she was done. And I've never seen anyone decorate the way that they decorated for Christmas. So, that was an experience. And it really made me feel like I half-assed my Christmas decorations, but I'm okay with it. It's not my holiday.
I do remember those dolls,
Yeah,
specifically
you know
holding
exactly what I'm talking about.
candles that like
Yeah,
would
they'd
just
hold a
kind of
candle and they
move.
would just move like
They'd kind of
little,
pivot,
yeah. Yeah,
a
yeah,
little bit.
yeah.
I do remember that. I remember, I think probably at my grandma's place, growing up. I think I remember that's where I would remember that. But yeah, so it's, and kind of what we were alluding to, brought up a little bit the other week, where it's like, Christmas can be kind of terrifying in its own way. I think
Mhm.
a lot of the songs certainly are, and you
Yes,
know
they are.
and a lot of them involve ghosts. A lot of Christmas stories involve
Yeah.
ghosts of some sort. So I think it lends itself pretty well.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
now,
Wait, what are we talking about?
well, we're talking about Chris Peckover's 2017 film, Better Watch Out. I was going to ask, do you think Home Alone is a Christmas movie?
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess it takes
Um,
place in Christmas. Whole thing's kind of centered around Christmas.
yeah. I not to go off on another tangent, but this movie
Go
does
for it.
talk a lot about Home Alone. I just saw this like meme or whatever the fuck you want to call it that showed um Mrs. McAllister, who's played by the lovely Catherine O'Hara, and it says that she was 36. His mom was supposed to be 36 in that movie at that time. She has teenage children, but also, what do they do for a living? That house, that trip, all those kids.
Yeah. This
That's
beautiful
bananas.
house. That's a big house. And you had to go on that trip
Big
and
ass
take so
house.
many kids on that trip. Dang.
Yeah, because they were going to Paris, right?
Mm.
Who brings don't bring all your kids to Paris. If you've got like 6 of them, no, absolutely not.
I just like just traveling with children. I just, now granted,
It's hard.
I'm childless. So
Yeah.
I get to be the one in the plane being like, oh geez, sucks for them, as I'm just, playing Mario Kart. as an
I say it's
adult.
hard, but actually, my son is an A+ traveler. He's never given me shit when traveling. No crying, mostly sleeping. Shout out to Nintendo because that Switch is like
Let's
it
get
makes
that endorsed.
traveling just so all that thing just needs to be charged
Yeah.
and life is good.
Come on,
And that's
Nintendo, let's
that.
get a set. I thought you were gonna say because you told him you'd throw him off the plane if he acted a fool, And who
No,
knows? Kids might believe it. You only get
they
one
might.
shot to tell them something wild and to see if they
Hmm.
believe it or not. And
Yeah.
so you gotta it's power that you don't have to wield too wisely, too responsibly. It's fine. Kids are kids. So, I only bring up Home Alone because I said this movie references it quite a bit.
In a
In
really
the
unique way.
in the home invasion bit, as well as also the paint can bit, which we'll
Mm.
we'll get to, because I don't think either would actually
I don't
happen.
think either would happen. So yeah, we can talk a little bit about
So,
that.
um, did you know the Australian connection this movie has?
No.
It's very, very well represented by Australian actors and was filmed in Australia. It was supposed to be
Oh.
in, originally was going to film for much less in the United States, but some financer was just like, I like you. I'm Australian, by the way, and I like you. And I think he found out his mom's from Australia. Pulled this up on the Wikipedia.
Well,
So, but you
most of it
have
takes place in the house. So it really wouldn't matter where it was filmed.
exactly, I mean, there's that. I think they had to digitally edit all the kangaroos out of the backyard, I guess. But I'm sorry, Australia. I'm
That's a
so
dumb
dumb.
joke.
I'm so dumb. It's not even a joke, but I'm just being dumb. But so a lot of the cast is Australian. You've got your main actress, and geez, I'm gonna fuck up every one of these people's names. I'm so sorry. But so you got Olivia De Jong,
You want me to take a
um,
crack at it?
if you'd like to.
Oh no, no, I would not like to. But
Sure.
DeYoung feels right. That feels right.
And then we were practicing Dacre Montgomery before we started. So,
We got
um,
him. He's
who's
Australian?
yeah, he's Australian. He's in
I didn't
Stranger
know.
Things. He is also in. Do you ever watch? They made a Power Rangers movie some years back with
He was in that? Is he
yeah,
one of the Rangers?
he's the Red Ranger. He's
Of
like the
course
leader
he
of the
is, because
group.
he's so handsome.
They they're all beautiful in like all five of those children in that in that
You
movie.
you have to be beautiful to be a Power Ranger.
Yeah. Yeah,
Think
I
about
think so
it.
too.
Yeah,
Yeah. You know, yeah, they really never mind. But yeah, very beautiful people. And like how Bill Hader is Alpha 5 and like
that's
Bryan
great.
Cranston's
Maybe I
Zordon, and
should I watch it? Did you
well,
watch it?
they only made the one, and
That's
then
fine.
yeah, and then they had that cute little cameo with Jason David Frank, rest in peace, my guy, as well as
RP.
who plays Kimberly? Amy Jo Johnson. I don't know. Of course I know who
Yes.
that is.
Love her.
A lot of formative, feelings about Amy Jo Johnson.
Oh
Like
yeah.
many
For
children.
yeah, yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So I just thought that was neat. That's all. I mean, the rest of the cast, especially the more well-known people like Virginia
Hmm.
Madsen, Patrick Warburton, I don't believe they are, but I didn't check. So I don't know. I just thought
No,
that was neat.
they're both American or Canadian, maybe. I
Maybe.
honestly never know.
I'm not gonna check, and
No, it's fine.
maybe I will one day. We'll see.
Yeah.
So I just thought it was interesting. Um, well, any just talking about just the Christmas movies in general, I just feel I'll be honest, I think it's slim pickings for Christmas themed horror movies. And boy, did
Yeah.
we kind of blow our load by doing two back to back in the first year of the
I
podcast.
know. I thought about that too, but it's okay because I think moving forward, we'll do one and that's okay. But I wanted to embrace the season as much as we could, and hopefully maybe filmmakers will come up with things in between.
Yeah. And the thing about this movie too is that it doesn't actually have to take place on or around Christmas. That's it's not really integral to the plot, but I wonder if that was
Mm.
added in because they're like, hey, you're at least guaranteeing maybe X amount of eyes. Like if you're just some random babysitter thriller, or
Hmm.
if you're a Christmas themed, babysitter thriller, I think people might be more inclined, at least in this part of the year, to be like, oh, well, no matter how dumb it is, let's watch like a Christmas themed horror movie.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking people like us, right? So,
Oh, for sure.
and
I don't think we would have watched it had it not been Christmas themed. And I love the title. I love that it's
yeah,
called Better Watch Out. I think that's really fun. And you immediately think of Santa and Christmas, and that's such a creepy phrase to use for something so seemingly festive.
well, that's kind of the inherently creepy thing about Christmas, right? Is that Santa's kind of a perv weirdo,
He's just a
and
fucking creep.
the
Hopefully everyone
judge.
knows my feelings on Santa by now. I feel like I've talked
Yeah,
a lot of shit on Santa.
I know one thing you'll certainly know from off the bat that it's a Christmas movie because you have. I just thought it was interesting. You start with sleigh bells right into that music,
Mhm.
and then I thought to myself, like, can you use sleigh bells in a non-Christmas song anymore, or is that just like completely ruined?
Whoa. That's a great question that I've never thought about before. And I can't think of one song that has sleigh bells that is not a Christmas song. When would I have heard that? So I'm going to say
Yeah,
no. I'm going to say you cannot use sleigh bells.
take that back, and probably not the band sleigh bells either, the group sleigh bells.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, well, there you go. I don't know. So, oh my gosh, what's this lead actor? What's this lead character's name?
Luke.
Ashley.
Oh,
Oh,
Ashley.
yeah,
Sorry.
Luke. Yeah, Luke is the little boy, and
Little
Ashley.
creep.
But so
She's great.
yeah. I just like it gets right to it, right? I mean, she's like what talking with her mom for a little bit, or is she talking with
She's talking with her mom.
Jimmy? Yeah, right. And using headphones, I feel like that's like more dangerous than just like putting her on
Is it not
speaker.
illegal to drive with headphones? Am I wrong in thinking that?
I can't speak for Australia, so
Well,
in
this
the
is
movie,
supposed to be the United States, as far as I know.
right? Well, I mean, I don't know. It doesn't really clearly state. It's just if you're judging by just kind of the accents everyone's using, that it's probably, and then probably somewhere that is celebrating Christmas, right? So yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know,
Yeah. Narrows it down a bit.
but I just think just when you don't have Bluetooth and everything in your phone, I don't know, just safe drive, just practice safe driving, everybody, especially around the holidays. Those roads are icy.
Yeah. I think, okay, for a moment, I was thinking, why the hell did they even start the movie with her in the car on the phone with her mom rather than at the door? And it's so that you can establish that she's leaving in a
Yeah,
couple of nights. So to like set the stage for that.
yeah. They've established that so she's coming to babysit Luke, right? Luke is like what,
Hmm.
12 years old.
He's 12.
Yeah, how old were you when you stopped needing a babysitter?
Jesus Christ. I
Am I gonna get your mom in trouble?
maybe, I don't
Just
even
way too young.
know. How old are you in, gosh, I want to say 7 or 8, probably. I was a latchkey kid.
Yeah.
Like I had a teen mom. It was like get to the house, lock the door, there's leftover spaghetti. Good luck until I get home.
You have a teen mom, but you were just wondering how Catherine O'Hara can have a teenage child at 36
I
when
know she could. I realize that. But you know what? Especially for this circumstance, I think it would be different if Luke was that age and the parents were like leaving for a trip or something like that. They're literally just going to a holiday party. I think he's a little old for a babysitter, but I'm not going to judge anyone else's parenting. Like I totally understand if you have an immature 12-year-old or just values wise, you feel like it's not okay to leave your 12-year-old. And I think he says that he's about to turn 13 at some point. So I think he's a little old to have a babysitter, but obviously there's a really interesting parental dynamic going on here.
I think I was babysitting other kids before I was 12.
Right? Exactly. Like you were responsible for other people's children or like your like own brothers probably.
Yeah, like once at least like one of them in the group hits double digits,
Mm-hmm.
you just give them a pizza, you give
Yeah.
them Pokemon Snap from
Yeah.
the Blockbuster on Nintendo 64. We'll bring back the cartridge to print out our photos, and you and then you're fine. You just show up and they're fine, you
Yeah.
know. So I don't know, but I think also like in my neighborhood, it was a small neighborhood in the sense where like a lot of people packed into a small space, right? So like that,
Yeah.
wall, like we would share walls with our neighbors. So it's like it's not like a parent that we didn't know well wasn't like, you know,
Yeah,
30
exactly.
yards away at any given moment, you know what I mean? But I
Yeah.
did remember feeling
Same.
very babysitting, that is when you feel especially that's where kids can feel very kids can be really humbled. I think when you think that you're too old for to be babysat, and you're
Mm-hmm.
still being babysat. I think of that episode of The Simpsons when Lisa has to babysit Bart, and fuck, man, that fucked with Bart. That fucked with his head. I mean, and good because little shit. The
Well,
more I
how go
uh
ahead.
no, never mind. You're good.
You still talking about Simpsons?
Yeah. So don't worry. It's not important.
Well, like how old do we think Ashley is? She's got to be like 18. Feels like she just graduated high school or something like that. It's going off to
Yeah,
college.
17, 18.
Yeah, that feels about right. So I'm like, there's a huge emotional maturity gap, obviously, from 12 to 17 or 18. But um, there's just so many red flags about like you don't see Virginia Madsen and what are their names? Robert and Deandra are the parents' names. You don't see them for very long, but in that small amount of time, you learn so much about that household dynamic.
Yeah, I mean, the main thing I got, by the way, fucking love Virginia Madsen,
We love
love
her. This
Patrick
character
Warburton.
is awful, but she's amazing. And she sells it. She does sell it too.
Yeah, I'm just thinking like I know I guess, and that's the part of acting, right? Because I'm thinking like I don't want to have to say all the things that she's saying, especially
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
oh my gosh, and I forgot for better, I forgot metrosexual was a thing,
I
and
know.
I'm like, oh my god. Oh, I don't know. Like, what is it called? Like, metrosexual?
Because she doesn't blatantly say, like, does she make fun of him for possibly being gay or like she says something I don't remember what it was that feels like a little like into the anti-gay territory, but also like she's like
Very
mocking
into the ants.
him. Yeah, like I don't remember
Yeah.
exactly what she says, but she's mocking him for having interest in these like fancy ornaments, which power to him. Like ornaments can be fun. So like
Yeah,
that what does she say? Do you know?
he is just like talking about like these ornaments, right? And it's not even like these ornaments are like I don't I mean, I don't know what makes an ornament gayer than another one. I don't know. But it's she like he was just like, "Oh, I want to put up these ornaments." And then she was like, and she just goes like, "Are you sure you never sucked another man's dick?
Yes, she does. Okay. I was like, what is the phrase that she says?
Are you sure
Yeah,
you haven't?" And he's just like,
over ornaments.
yeah, he's like, the fuck, And then maybe I don't know.
And I think what's so telling of that exchange is she's encouraging, like, as a mom and as a woman, this like picture of toxic masculinity, which is so wild to me. But like, obviously, we're going to talk a lot about moms with in
Always the mom's
horror.
fault somehow.
It's always the moms, but like hearing her say those things, like it gives you this insight into where Luke is getting this image of what a man should be, how to be a man, you know, what makes you masculine. And like that is weird. That is just so weird that it comes from his mom. Yeah, gross. So gross.
Especially because, I don't know, Patrick Warburton's just a pretty doodly dude.
He really
You
is. Yeah, like
know?
his voice is deeper than anyone's voice could be, really.
So like when you have like a perfect, it seems like a perfectly fine, male role model in this house,
Mhm.
she's like, no, I'm gonna
No.
make sure that he gets shamed constantly for any sort of, and it's ornaments. And I'm like, also, how long
It's Christmas time.
how long y'all been married? Have you never seen those ornaments before? Like, why is this not a thing? Why didn't we just negotiate? Like, okay, you can put 2 of these up, or
It couldn't
whatever,
be his
whatever.
first year. It couldn't be his first year that interested in ornaments the way that he's acting and the exchange that they're having. Like he's clearly been interested in these ornaments for a long time.
Yeah.
And
So the
that's fine.
very,
Good for him.
so, it was a challenge. Had to kind of recalibrate myself because you go from that very high excitement of seeing Virginia Madsen, and then that low of just blatant casual homophobia, and you're just like, okay, come on.
Yeah, she is a weirdo in this movie, and she doesn't have a lot of screen time.
Yeah, they could only afford them for one day, so
Yeah,
they're at the beginning and then they're at the
in the
very
end.
end.
Yep.
So it feels interesting that if they shot both of those parts in one day, because you just really got to go like a
I would bet they
quick
did.
turn. Yeah, I think so
Yeah,
too.
I mean they're in the same clothes too. Like,
Yeah. I
yeah.
love a movie that takes place all in a house, kind of all in the same scene.
Mm-hmm.
Because like really the only other outside shots at the very beginning when she's driving up.
Yeah, and they do a good job of like the movie the entire time is engaging. Like you don't get sick of, being in the house. Like it's very suspenseful. You referred to it as a thriller earlier. Do you think this is more of a thriller?
No, it just sounded better. I mean,
Babysitter thriller.
was I thrilled? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's fair.
You
Okay.
know, but it's yeah, I mean it still counts as a horror movie just with all the
Yeah.
violence and the gore. And you have
Yeah.
your monster in Luke. Spoiler alert, everybody.
Yes.
I hope you watch this.
Oh yeah, we
Um
probably should have probably should have shared a little bit before that. If you haven't, watch it. Stop, as Kyle hates when I say this, but stop listening to us, watch it, but then promptly come back to listening to us.
yeah, you know my stance.
You're already
So
here.
um yeah, gosh, I don't know. It was just kind of funny. It's interesting watching it, a second time through. I guess this is my second time watching it. And I've actually got it on in the background now just to keep me fresh. But the sleepwalking thing was kind of interesting until you find out that I guess he
Yeah.
was faking the sleepwalking thing the whole
That's what
time.
I was wondering. So, two things on this. One, Ashley's babysat Luke before. So why is Deandra going over it with her again? Or like did we change the rules on the sleepwalking? And then two, was he always just faking the sleepwalking because he clearly knows the pencil trick at the end? He goes through that whole process. So I don't know, but he obviously has trouble sleeping because he uses the heartbeat slash like fetus machine to fall asleep, which is also very interesting.
Is that what that is? Did I
Oh
I miss
yeah. Do you
that?
know what that thing is?
Clearly not.
All right. We don't need the research team for this because I know. So what that is, the theory is that babies who are having trouble sleeping will respond well to white noise to cancel out any other noise. You can use it to help them stop fussing.
Like
But
the Michael Keaton movie?
yeah, exactly. You just
Okay.
play that in the background.
Okay.
So you take it up a notch by having it be the sound of a rhythmic heartbeat, because babies in the womb can hear their mother's heartbeat. So this machine is intended for infants. That's the first part. I looked into this because the research team is off for Christmas. So I looked into it. I was like, what is the age that you stop using these machines if you're using them for your baby? It's 2 to 4 years old, and 4 is mature for this machine. So again, no judgments if anyone's using this machine for their children. I never used one. But so Luke using this at the age of 12, like even his friend like knows about it and like kind of like gives him shit for it. Like, you're his friend, you should be supportive, but still like and he is in this movie, I guess. But but yeah, like that is a huge red flag on something wrong there. And it's like this, maybe I'm getting too deep here, but like there's this like tightrope walk for mothers with sons that you don't want to shame them for, wanting to snuggle, wanting to be loved, all of those things. Like those are natural human things. They should be encouraged, like all of those things. But then there's this weird psychological tie to serial killers and deranged ass men of them having these weird, like what's the word? Like maybe too intimate of relationships with their mothers. And it feels like that's what Luke has going on with his mom. Like even when she's holding him at the end, it's you can tell how like soothed he is by it in like the creepiest way possible.
Yeah, he's a real fucking creep. And and honestly, comparatively, the like horny little pervertness of these two 12-year-olds at the beginning is kind of harmless. I was like,
when they're talking in the room, it makes sense. He's like, oh, like I'm so into my babysitter. Like that feels normal. Yeah. Even like talking about sex and all that shit. Totally normal.
Yeah, geez. I just I don't know. They're weird. So Luke has this idea that I'm in love with my I'm in love with my cheerleader. I'm in love with my babysitter. Yeah. And he's gonna make a move, and he's got a plan. And it's a dumb plan. It is a plan that a 12-year-old came up with. Definitely.
Absolutely.
A dumb 12-year-old who does not think things through. So I do like that a lot. There's no like grand, master planning from him really throughout any of this, other than like, having the spiders, setting up the paintball gun, to make it look like Garrett was shot, but like really beyond that, like I'm still just wondering like what the fuck their end game here was. But
I'm assuming the end game was he like saves the day in some way, and the person breaking in leaves, and then he's like, come into my arms, Ashley, like that type of situation. Also
like a 12-year-old.
Yes, exactly. And not to be forgotten, when they're talking on the bed in the beginning is when they first bring up the paint can argument.
Oh, right. Yeah. Bringing up the bit in Home Alone where when Kevin's dropping the paint can, would it really knock them out, or would their brains blow up? I don't know. So they do test,
smash his face in. Yeah.
Yeah. They do test this with Ricky later, and we'll see. But
we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
But yeah, geez, Luke just, I don't know. We don't know what the other times he was babysat looked like, because man, he comes in hot. He's
he does
from the beginning, just being like, of course, he finds the bottle of bubbly, and he's, talking about, fucking the current boyfriend as well as the last boyfriend. One thing I
Yeah,
do
he
like
knows a
about
lot.
Ashley, one thing I like about Ashley is that she goes to the couch, turns on the TV, first thing without thinking, goes straight to the horror channel.
Yeah, she's definitely, yeah. Even after the mom said, like, don't watch, I think she says don't watch any horror movies, like they might keep you up or something like that. Yeah, she went right for the horror movies. Good for her.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, just man, and of course, just Luke being a dumb asshole, just fucking is it champagne they're drinking, I think? Or he's drinking, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
pop that bottle open. He's just drinking it straight out the bottle. I'm like, be classy. Use a glass.
And then that's when we find out that like, oh, the back door's open. We start getting small little
Hmm.
hints that other shit's going on. Now, one thing I'm gonna push back a little bit with Ashley,
Ooh, I'm
and
so excited to hear what you have to say.
like it's a yes and
Okay.
situation where Luke is an absolute fucking monster, right?
Absolutely.
Um, Ashley needs to set better boundaries with him from the
Word.
get-go because
Absolutely.
she says the absolute worst thing you could fucking say to him, which is, and I quote this, I would date you if you were my age.
Yeah, that's fucked.
Why? After all of that. And then like while they're sitting on the couch and shit, and like there is like an extended amount of time where they are cuddled up real close and
Mm-hmm.
he has like a
Mm-hmm.
hand on her leg and
She moves his
it
hand. She does move his
does
hand,
move
but
his
like
hand, right?
she doesn't verbally say anything. And with how interested that kid seems, like that's a good opportunity to be like, okay, obviously I've given you the wrong idea. Like, not me blaming it on her, but like just the like saying I would date you if you were older is very flirty. Like
Yeah.
I would not say that unless I was flirting with someone. But she lets him like put her head, like his head on her shoulder. I would have said absolutely not. Like we do I need to move to the other couch? Like this is too close. It's too much.
Yeah. The movie they're watching, I couldn't tell if it was a real movie or not, but it
It's
did
not.
have some in a mask and a slasher. Is it not?
It's not. So they have the actors listed in the IMDb of the movie. So it's not a real movie, which I just learned like an hour ago.
Oh, and then you shared it with me. Thank you. And
Yeah,
our
see?
audience. Thank you. Yeah. Just like I get it. First, like, he comes in hot. He's needs to stay in his own fucking lane. He's like, just like, oh, these you're too good for these men, and why do you just keep going back to assholes and this and this and this and every
Yeah.
just and every just thing out of the fucking like incel manual,
Yeah.
and she just goes like, well, you're sweet, Luke, but stay in your own lane, kind of
Mm-hmm.
situation, and then he goes like, oh, I'm mature for my age, and she goes, I know. And that's when she says like, if you were my age,
Mm-hmm.
I would date you. And this is like after all the bullshit with like
Yeah.
the opening of like the bottle of champagne and being a dickhead about it and this and this and
Mm-hmm.
this. So it's a yes, and it's like I
Yeah.
feel like there
Even
could have been very easy ways to, I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't think any of that was going to deter him and his plan for that night. I don't think anything was going to change that. That's all on
no.
him. So
Okay,
I don't
but
know.
but
So that was
hear me
interesting.
out. Hear me out. Do you think that if she would have let him make a move and made out with him, that all of that shit would have happened? Do you think he would have just been like, you know what? Like cancel. Garrett, don't bother.
Yeah. Yeah. He would cancel the whole thing.
Yeah. And so like,
I think so. Not saying that
there's
she should
no
have done
no.
that. Right.
No, and I mean she wouldn't have known anyway, but yeah, I think there's the interesting thing about Luke's character. I mean, there's a lot of interesting things about his character, but one, I will say that little boy is acting the shit out of this. Like, I think he's so hateable. Like, he's so good at doing that fake confidence that like a young boy would do. Like you can tell it's not real. It's coming from a place of really insanity and just this like pretend confidence to try to impress a girl. Like for this just to, make out. Like that's probably as far as he even can comprehend going.
Yeah, he is definitely the MVP of this movie.
Yeah, he's so great.
He fucking sells it because this dude makes me so uncomfortable from the get-go.
Yes.
He is a fucking creep, and the
I just want
way
to punch
that
him in the dick. Like,
he just tries to manipulate all of these situations and these environments, and it's like he's not like necessarily good at it, and that's the thing, and
mm-mm.
that's where it's just like you have to remember this is a 12-year-old because his end game is not he is not thinking
Yeah.
clearly,
Yeah.
and he definitely does. I think sometimes he kind of plays it a little bit like, he's like the fucking Riddler, or something, you know what I mean? Where he gets like a little just kind of like into himself and he's kind of like grooving down the hallway.
Oh, I
And he's like,
love that. I love when he's
you
behind
know,
Ricky with the baseball bat and he like
yeah,
swings it up across his shoulder. Like his swag in that moment is pretty good.
it's
I,
very Batman villain. I
yeah, it
get which
really is.
which I'm not saying I love his rogues gallery, but the yeah, I just thought that was really interesting. Just this like just kind of feigned or just like unearned just kind of confidence. And then also just
Yeah.
some of like the weirder turns he takes when he's like rubbing the end of the gun against his cheek and kind of like into his mouth. And
Mm-hmm.
he's just like he's very, very creepy and
Yeah, his
very awful.
mannerisms and his like body language is like very just his physical acting is really good. And even his like his the way he moves his body and the way that he speaks when he is putting on his I'm an innocent 12-year-old boy act, like with the carolers and the
Mhm.
boyfriend Jeremy when he comes to like write the apology, like his whole facial expression and body language changes, which I think is really fun to see him like turn that on and off depending on who the audience is and what he needs to achieve.
Yeah. So definitely MVP for that dude.
Yeah.
Levi Miller. I can't pronounce anyone's names. I'm so sorry.
It's probably
Um,
Levy. Well, Levi.
I know a Levy and a Levi.
I don't know.
So
We'll never
it's
know.
it can really be both. It's okay. I mean, I guess we could look it up. We could ask. But it seems like it's such a small part of it in retrospect, this whole kind of idea of you know, the home invader, with the
Mm-hmm.
gun, this whole first plan of his, I do like about Ashley in this movie is that whether it's the men in her life, whether it's the boyfriend or the ex-boyfriend or this dumb little child or the presumed, person like making these phone calls or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
she's very much she does not take anyone's shit the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
Like the
She has some
whole
of the
way
best
through,
lines.
she gives Luke absolutely like fucking nothing. And I
Mm-hmm.
love it. Like up until the end. So it's very that's what and where I really think where I want to call it horror is because she absolutely fits, like I don't know, it's just that classic final girl kind of trope,
Mm-hmm.
um
Mm-hmm.
without all of her girlfriends having to be murdered and all that leading up to it. It's just the
Yeah, just
boyfriends
her
that die.
boyfriends. her
What
poor
can you do?
her poor boyfriends. Yeah,
Yeah, that's pretty rough.
the I remember, okay, if I remember correctly, the first time that both of us watched this movie, I think we watched this together when we were doing a movie night, which is us watching together remotely. And I fully thought that this whole movie was going to be a home invasion. So when that ends pretty quickly, you're like, whoa, what's going to happen next? Like it really throws you. I remember it's such a fun watch to like the first time. I mean, it's still fun to rewatch, but like that first watch when when you figure out that there's actually not a real threat coming from the outside. That's pretty fun.
Yeah, that's really good. Though it was pretty funny when he yells out the door, like, cut it out. I know Taekwondo. And I'm like,
Yeah,
okay. I would have liked to see him do a little Taekwondo in this movie.
that would have been great.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, so I not necessarily to glaze over this part because but I just think the meat of the movie is like after this reveal that it's
Mm-hmm.
Luke, and Garrett, and man, I fucking hate Garrett. But
Garrett.
I
Oh,
also it's also hard for me to like reckon with like I don't know. He kind of looks like a 12-year-old me a little bit. So so that bums me out, but so I'm like fuck
What's
Garrett.
fun about this movie is that we will presumably hate all the same people for probably the first time ever,
Yeah. I
right?
yeah, Garrett's such a dumb little shit
And
and
but okay, but to defend Garrett for just a moment,
mhm,
he does get drugged by by Luke. He gave him oxy and he's a 12-year-old. So I mean that's gonna make him pretty carefree, but he shouldn't have even gone along with that scheme in the first place of pretending to break in. Like not cool, not a funny joke. And I love what Ashley says when she figures out that it's Garrett. I wrote this one down because I just thought it was like, wow, she went hard. She says, "What delusional infant thinks that staging a break-in is going to get you to second base?" I was like, damn, she called him a delusional infant, which feels
yeah.
fitting.
Though gosh, though not too long after, she says, I would date you if you were my age. she does she does well, and then he makes a move, right? Sorry, I'm jumping back a little bit.
No, it's
Makes
okay.
a
It's
move.
okay. We're
She
gonna bounce around a little bit.
refuses it immediately and goes, you'll always be my little buddy. And I'm like, what an awesome just dagger twist just of emasculating this dumbass little 12-year-old boy.
Yeah, he deserves all of that.
He deserves all of it because he is a dumb little buddy.
Yeah.
So
Ugh.
I don't know, but it's just yeah, they staged this. I don't even know like how was this going to work long term for them anyway? Like even with this
Yeah.
plan, so just oh yep, guess we're just gonna let go. Some just random dude who just kind of came in and left. Yeah,
Hmm.
just throwing bricks through the windows and stabbing car tires out.
Yeah.
So
It's pretty serious. It's pretty serious. And then at that point, he what does he do? He like pistol whips her to knock her out with the gun.
yeah, yeah. So like I mean, you think Garrett gets shot, and then she finds out that it is Garrett, right? And then because he's wearing like the mask with like the horns, I think on it,
Yeah.
and
Stupid idiots.
stupid fucking idiot
You
kids,
couldn't buy a ski mask and a fresh one? Come on.
right? And he Jesus. I'm just thinking just even before this, like just all this awful shit where he's like, I'll protect you. It's okay to
Hmm.
cry. Don't worry, it's okay to cry. Like
Yeah.
him saying this shit to her when he's like, and
He
she's like
knows
just not
everything's fine.
and she's just even in the situation when she thinks it's real, she's still not buying any of his bullshit,
No.
which is she's just like, okay, you're acting fucking weird. Like, let's handle the situation. I'm the adult. And she does. She handles it like up until
I
that
think she
very,
actually
very
does
well.
pretty well. Yeah, except for when he goes to get the gun, like he probably shouldn't have gone out there by himself. Of course, he knows it's completely safe, but she doesn't know that.
Yeah, right. So and with no bullets in it either anyway, so it
Hmm.
doesn't even matter. But yeah, geez, I don't know. So she finds out, she's like, you all are fucked, at
Hmm.
least grounded, please. And then yeah, dude, that's when he fucking knocks her out with the
Ooh.
with the pistol. And then
So things take a turn.
oh yeah, geez. And man, just I don't know, almost falls down the stairs. I just never see that work for anyone. Now,
I
granted,
know.
I don't know. Now it's not always a death becomes her situation, right? Where like, but yeah, I don't know. Like that was a way bigger staircase that Meryl Streep fell down in
Oh, it
that
was
one.
that is an excessively long staircase. But I the first time watching this movie, I thought that she was going to die and then these two boys were going to have to figure out what the fuck they were going to do next, but that wouldn't have really gone very far. But yeah, I'm surprised that she didn't even break a bone. Didn't seem like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
So
she survives that.
so she wakes up duct taped. And and then just like and then they're just like, I don't know, it's just like where they think this plan's gonna go from here. It's like, now then what, like he comes up with this like half brain fucking idea of, you know oh yeah, right, because they wanted to roofie her so she would just forget the whole thing, which I mean, I guess I
Mm.
just don't know the science behind that, like if it works like
She wouldn't forget that far back. Like, I mean, I guess the memory loss aspect is going to be different for each person. We'll send that to the research team when they're back. Um, but yeah, like I don't see it being likely that she would forget the whole evening, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, because it'd be like, no, I remember up until, yeah, it's like you just forget everything else. It's like, yeah, okay, I remember up until I was duct taped to a chair, and then everything else is a
Yeah,
blur.
exactly.
But who
Like,
knows? Maybe not.
well, and
I
also
don't
like
know.
if you're not intoxicated and you're roofied, like I'm sure that would also like extend memory loss. Like she's completely sober except for a couple sips of champagne, so she's probably fine. But yeah, they may not even really understand how that works. Also, when she's tied to the chair and she's like just waking up, Luke and Garrett are literally having a conversation about pussy and like all these different, like just sex and just they sound like two 12-year-old boys talking about what they think sex and pussy would be like because that shit is it is hilarious like listening to them. I love that little snippet of conversation that they have.
It's so bad.
It is.
Little bit of a sexual assault trigger warning, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody, it's funny we bring this up after we expect people to watch this movie. Sorry about that. But
Yeah.
but what I do at least appreciate, right, is
And honestly, trigger warnings for if you've ever been roofied, which is
yeah,
sadly, like, I mean, it doesn't always result in something, more than that. But I mean, I know lots of women who have been roofied, and luckily they were with friends who like kept them safe. But yeah, it's that both of these things are very real and very common. So yeah, we're about to get
but
into it.
it's the just the casual sexual assault of just like, yeah, you know, but then like through the lens of a 12-year-old of, truth or dare, let's touch your boob, you know.
Yeah, it it's
And he's so creepy. He's so awful when he does it. He's awful. Ugh,
it,
I hated it.
the most interesting thing about this, and I didn't ever think about this until this last watch because obviously they are 12-year-old boys. So like they're thinking like, oh, like grabbing a boob. Like there's this weird, like these two parallels of them being so creepy, inappropriate, and being sexual predators while still being little boys and picking the most, if it was consensual, innocent thing that you could do. Like if you were, with a girl for the first time. Like, oh, like I'm gonna reach underneath her shirt, like as we're making out, kind of thing. But because this is literally sexual assault and she is not consenting, like it's also this really creepy, horrible thing that's happening to this girl. So it's just such a strange thing to be happening all at once. And I love her response of when he says, "How did that feel?" And she says, like a little boy just felt me up. I swear, she is so good. She's
Yeah,
so
she's great.
good at just like, you know what, like that, the best fuck yous coming from her.
Yeah, again, just like she gives them absolutely fucking nothing. I love it
Nothing,
so much. And
nothing.
um I forget when exactly this happens. I think it's maybe after, I forget if it's before or after the truth or dare, but when they take like the lipstick to draw lips on the duct tape, you know?
That's before the truth or dare.
Okay. It just reminds me of they do that to Drew Barrymore in the Charlie's Angels movie. And I wonder if that's where they got the idea.
That is such a random reference.
I just you see, I'm like, I've seen this happen before.
I've seen that movie once, and it was, when did that come out? Like in the early 2000s?
I think 2000 on the dot, if not like 99.
Really? Yeah. Wow. How many times have you seen that movie?
Probably just the once, to be honest, once or
I've only
twice.
seen it once, and I don't even remember that.
Yeah. Well, there you
It
go.
really stuck with you.
I could be wrong. Y'all can check and tell me if I'm wrong, and treat yourself to a nice, fun action movie in
Sure.
the yeah. But yeah, no, exactly. I think you're right. Where I wrote down in my notes where it's like, no matter the context, each situation very much a 12-year-old, and
Yes.
so which I like. I mean, I think,
Yeah. It feels more realistic that way.
and it shows that like, okay, this is also a maybe a win, like a winnable fight here, because you're
Mm-hmm.
like, he clearly is not thinking things through. He clearly only has the capacity for so much maturity,
Mm-hmm.
that he just doesn't, especially, and not even just the fact that we're just talking about, this isn't just any 12-year-old, right? This is 12-year-old that, I didn't see even before I knew that that's what that little fucking machine was for, like, who is very much um infanticized, is that the word?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, it's
Yeah,
just
I,
very
I
like,
think so.
sure. But
If we're coining it now.
yeah, I don't know, it was just very I don't know, he's just very, very much a 12-year-old in all of that.
Well, and then like it's another like situation where it's like this 12-year-old is capable of
Yeah.
committing these horrible, horrible crimes without really any regard for other people. And at the same time, just wants to like his goals are that of wanting to impress a girl and maybe kiss her. And who knows how much he was planning in the moment versus like, thinking things through, because obviously he, you know, Garrett realizes like, they realize you invited Ricky over, and then he later invites Jeremy over. So it's just yeah, he's definitely dangerous, but he's also a little boy. So like Ashley's in a position where she's like, I could totally fuck this kid up if I could just get out from this fucking chair. Like,
And she's successful both
mm-hmm,
times, to
mm-hmm.
get out, well, kind of to get out of that chair. I think that's what we're supposed to say again, but we'll figure that out. But yeah, just I don't know. I guess now we reach out to Ricky. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I
No,
love,
Ricky.
I love that, Logan calls him, right? And, or sorry, Luke calls him. Logan, sorry. Luke calls him, and and then Ricky's like, who the fuck is this? I'm not Lance, it
No,
just like
that's
hangs up.
Jeremy. That's
Is
what he
that
calls
Jeremy that,
Jeremy. He
right?
texts Ricky because Ricky thinks that Ashley texted him,
Oh, right.
and
So
she
it's
reveals that she
Jeremy.
didn't.
So it's Jeremy that calls back, and or
Yeah.
who gets called again, is because, oh, you mean that little taint on Claremont?
Yeah.
I'm like, see, that's his, he should be bullied because this
Yes,
kid is,
absolutely. Absolutely, he should. He
look,
deserves every fucking moment of it
look, we are pro bullying in some contexts on this
in this
podcast.
context. That kid is a piece of shit. He's the worst.
Yeah. So, but yeah, we do manage to get Ricky over, and same thing, like I say, like, these are 12-year-olds we're dealing with. So it's not
Yeah.
like they're able to like, even, even when they do have the element of surprise on Ricky when he comes, it's not like that wasn't even an easy fight. It's like he gets back up, and he's able to,
Yeah.
and he's just
I
not even fucking just,
wonder I wonder if Luke was the one who texted Ricky to come over, not Ashley, and he like shows up with flowers and he asked to come in and Luke is like, "No, I'm not going to let you in." Ricky forces his way through the door by pretending like, "Hey, can you just give her these flowers?" and like forces his way through the door. So I'm like, was Luke eventually going to let him in? Like obviously he wanted to kill Ricky or do something terrible to him.
So maybe Ashley invited him over, and then and Luke's just like was trying to get him to leave, but then
No, she
realized like,
says
okay,
that she didn't text Ricky.
oh, well then I
She
don't
they
know.
like they reveal that in the kitchen when they're both tied to the chair.
So yeah, okay, I don't know. I
So
don't know
like
what
it's
the fuck
super
his plan
that
is.
that part's confusing, but I feel really bad for Ricky getting a pencil through his fucking cheek.
Oh, oh, oh.
That was rough.
Yeah, yeah, that's pretty rough. That sucks. And it makes sense that because the first time you're watching it, just like, how did he know the pencil was there? And then,
Yeah.
but
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
so no, 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 yeah, he is something.
And Ricky's kind of dumb. Like
And poor Ricky.
the way he like starts walking through the house at first and then is like, wait, something's wrong. Like it took him way too long to realize something was wrong. Like these two 12-year-olds are acting fucking shady as shit. Like,
Wait, yeah, I don't know. And then, poor guy, he's just like, I don't smoke marijuana. Don't make me do this.
I
and
know.
and he's like, we're not having sex yet, like
Yeah.
whatever. This and this and this. And you're just like,
Mm.
oh, Ricky, you're just
Yeah, because Luke is like asking her, what does he ask her how many guys she's slept with?
yeah.
Which is another fucking weird man thing to do to like need to know like the body count of a woman and then like presume something based off of that. Like that also I thought was interesting that he went right to that question.
Yeah. He's just a fucking weirdo pervert who is just fetishizing this woman, right? It's not
Yeah.
really about her anymore.
Mm-mm.
It's just a 12-year-old just not thinking straight and just who's fucking
Mhm.
crazy and part thinking with his dick and not much else. And he's awful. But I know, and they uh and then the little smoke coming out of his cheek.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and you know what else is you know what else is funny about Luke? Whenever he panics or something goes wrong, his voice cracks.
Yeah,
I really enjoy that. I like that little character detail.
it's really good. And poor Ricky, we'd mentioned Home Alone.
Oh
They get
God.
the idea now that everyone's tied up, even though Ashley's slowly making her way out, but not in time, unfortunately,
Oh, she
to save
just
Ricky.
misses it.
Just misses it. They decide like, okay, what is this the paint can bit, right? That they
Mm-hmm.
do on fucking Joe
Home
Pesci
Alone.
and Daniel Stern, right, in Home Alone. They're like, what would that really do in real life? And they try it out with a full paint can. And the idea is that Ricky's directly beneath him and he's upstairs, on the whatever thing and over the banister, that's the word, and
Mm-hmm.
throws this paint can tied to a string that like goes up and then swings
Mm-hmm.
and misses him at first, but then
Oh.
hits him square in the face the second time. And I guess I don't know. I'm thinking just like with how heavy a full can of paint is with the trajectory of it swinging down, would it have like
Just crushed
completely
his
just
face.
yeah just crushed and just broke his fucking skull wide open? It's just everywhere. And I did like the blood with the paint
Oh,
and it
I
all mixed
love
and
that.
dripping.
That
That was
looks
really
great.
good.
Yeah. They did a really
Considering,
good job. Like we didn't have to see his face.
yeah, I think with the limited budget, I'm sure they did a lot with selling you the gore without showing
Mm-hmm.
it, which was nice. But
Now,
I don't think that would have.
In Home Alone, was that paint can, I don't remember, was it that coming from that high? I thought that it was like hanging like in a normal size, like doorway or hallway. So it wouldn't have had that same trajectory. Like, I don't feel like that's a fair test. Am I wrong?
No, you're right. Because I mean, they're already halfway up the stairs at that point, and it's not as much of a swinging
Yeah.
trajectory. So I just pulled up the YouTube video. I had it on.
Okay, I
I
thought
was just
so.
watching it really quick. So yeah, that's why
I
I'm
don't
like
know. And then, okay, here's another thing. So,
small
if you're
tidbit, small, small gripe, but
your face can actually take quite a bit without it actually killing you. Like you could break all the bones in your face and be very much alive, or like take pretty considerable damage even to the exterior, like your skin and all of those things, and still survive. So I feel like it would have broken the shit out of his face, but he still would have been alive, which may have been like worse in that moment. He probably would have eventually died and bled out because there was no ambulance to save him. But I just don't think he would have died immediately.
yeah, just immediate, just head smashed open.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, what can you
Horrifying though.
do? We're not scientists, nor did they actually try it on what the fuck's that show?
Home
Mythbusters.
Alone?
Thank you.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's like Home
Mythbusters.
Alone.
Yeah. So,
They did.
so, man,
R.I.P.
she's
Ricky.
yeah, I know. But she manages to get herself out.
Mm-hmm.
Um only to get tied up again. How did I forget what happened? How'd she get tied up the second time after she found with the paint can? Or is it because of the
She makes it pretty far out, so she trips over the tripwire that sets off the
right?
paintball gun, but then she gets up again because she hits Garrett with the chair and all of that. She keeps running, she sees the carolers, and then Luke, I think, comes out of nowhere and whacks her with the bat.
Right.
So he gets her a second time. Like, I think he circled around the front of the house.
Jesus gosh, all the concussions. That
I
poor
know,
girl.
that's what I was thinking. You can't just be going around hitting people with bats.
Yeah. I know, Jesus Christ. So then we've got, and then also, we're getting some a little bit of tear at the seams here in the friendship between Garrett and
Mm-hmm.
Luke here.
He really
I think
has
at
him
this
doing
point,
a lot.
yeah, has him doing a lot. You find out about the hamster situation.
Oh, that was it. Garrett was fucking pissed. That was a good play by Ashley.
Yeah. I'd be like, hey Garrett, did you know this, and this? Dude, and yeah, oh my gosh. And then when you find out that it wasn't an accident and he was just faking crying, to Ashley and all that shit about it. Like he was just always like a fucking
Oh yeah. He's fucking sociopath.
yeah. Oh, Jesus Christ. But we are able to at this point get Jeremy over. Poor guy
Mm-hmm.
never makes it in the house.
Yeah, he didn't even
Um
make it in the house. That whole scene drags out so long of him writing the apology. I'm like, why are we watching this still?
I did I did like him. He was pretty funny. Like when he rolls up, though, don't drink and drive. I hope he parked, and then you still shouldn't be drinking in your car anyway. Just don't
Yeah, you
don't
really
even mix
shouldn't
the
drink in your
two, right?
car. Yeah.
Let's be real. But this just the fact that he plays along with this whole thing about like,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, writing the love letter or an apology letter and this and this and this, which is also, by the way, I will never commit any apology to paper
No, you shouldn't.
because it could be used as a suicide note if someone murdered me and faked it as such. So no,
Whoa.
thank you. You're not getting any
Wow.
no
Didn't
apologies
even
in
didn't
written
even
form from me.
didn't even think about that. But I
Well, that's what
honestly,
happened.
that dumb fucking hat that Jeremy is wearing alone makes him deserve to die. So he can get out of here. I
It's
didn't even
funny.
think about that. Wow, I did not realize that that's what he was doing.
Yeah, that was his plan. So it's just like, Ashley, I'm sorry, this and this and this. Because if you just read it like in that context, then you're just like, oh, he killed himself because he was a shitty ex-boyfriend,
Wow.
or he killed everyone and then killed himself
That's actually
and then hung
quite
himself.
smart. I'll give Luke props for that one. That's kind of smart.
Yeah, I think so. So that's why, yeah,
Not that it
again,
was
I'm
right.
not, yeah. Um, but yeah, I thought that was, yeah, I don't know. That whole thing was pretty silly. And then, yeah, I guess just even, I know even with the element of surprise, but like Luke is just such a tiny little boy that to work all of that out, like the noose and to get the whatever thing he's driving, if it was just
Yeah.
like a lawn, like one of those big lawnmowers or tractor situations, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, that's a lot to work out for
Yeah,
for a little
he
kid where you didn't have that much time to plan all of it, to be like, oh, let me make sure I have a rope, and good thing I know how to tie a noose. Even with YouTube, I mean, I don't think I'd be able to tie a noose super well first time in
no.
that. So,
And does he like did he do that? He had to have done all of that before starting this whole adventure, to
that's what I was
which
saying. Yeah.
did Garrett not notice when he was like running out the back with the paintball,
Yeah, be like,
tripwire and all that
who
shit?
be like, hey,
Who's that news for?
who's that noose on the tree for? What's going on
Yeah.
there?
What,
Yeah.
going around hanging people or what?
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. Um, so poor Jeremy. you know,
Yeah.
whatever he did in life, I don't think he deserved that death. So to
No.
Jeremy.
He seemed like a pretty average dude.
Well, and then gosh, and then it's what's his face? Then Garrett dies because
Mm.
fucking finally, Garrett's like, oh yeah, this is all not a good idea. I mean, like Garrett is like giving me
Took him long
vibes
enough.
of like, you know, I don't know. Like I think the story everyone turns to is that Slender Man story, right? Where I'm like, man, those like 10-year-olds can get up to some shit if you just
Yeah.
leave them alone to just talk to one another. Fuck, people will
Yep.
talk themselves up into some
Oh
shit.
yeah.
And so that's where I'm kind of like, yeah, Garrett, I get why Garrett would have played along for so long, because he was probably just fucking just disassociating at that point, just like
Oh
I
yeah,
I
and
I
he was
just
he was high. He had the oxy. He smoked a little weed. Like I don't think I could juggle those two things at the same time, and I'm not 12.
I
So,
think he I think with a good lawyer he would have been able to get out of that
oh,
as just like an accomplice,
100%.
because he could have said, I was
Absolutely.
drugged, I this and this and this, I
Yeah,
don't
yeah, he could have said I
remember a
was drugged.
thing.
Yeah, and he's under 18. Like I think he would have, been fine. Yeah.
Yeah. So um but no, man, yeah, no, he's just a little too late in getting Ashley
Mhm.
out of that, or maybe just in time, because I think she is able to get herself out. You just don't know until afterwards that she was able to at least get a hand free, um, because she was able to
Yeah,
cover up the cut in her neck, with duct tape, and
Mm,
yeah, and then he just fucking just shoots Garrett down point blank with the fucking shotgun, and then just goes again,
yeah,
but
that's
then
fucked
just
up.
that.
That's his best
And
friend.
I know, and that just brutal, just like screaming, and he's just blaming it on him. He's blaming it on
Hmm.
Garrett, and it's like, this dude. I'm just like, he's just so out of options, and is so. But then
Like
it is
where
even
where was
still.
Garrett gonna fit into that story? Like why would the boyfriend have killed Garrett? Like he was supposed to have been at home and Luke is just asleep when Garrett's there downstairs with the rest of the crew. That feels like a weird flaw in that plan.
12-year-old just trying to make the best of a situation, still trying to figure out how to frame this so it makes any sense. And you know this movie, what comes out 2017? That's 6 years after Scream 4.
Mm.
Um, and I just wrote that, you know, it's very much the Scream 4 ending in some ways. Well, a truncated Scream
Mm.
4 ending
Yeah,
where
yeah, that's true.
you have this bit, and I like it. It's always nice. It's nice to see every now and then, but
Yeah.
when you think the killer is one and
Hmm.
everybody is dead, and then you just get to watch afterwards what happens.
Yeah,
It's like when it's just them in the
I
house,
love that.
and that's so cool. And I a lot of people give Scream 4 shit, but I really think it was very clever in
I
some
love
ways.
Scream 4. Y'all are a
And
bunch of
well,
haters.
I know, and we'll
We'll
get
get there.
we'll get there. But don't worry, y'all. But I love I now I don't know if it was as entertaining as Emma Roberts. Um,
No,
just going
nothing
to
could be as
town on herself,
entertaining as Emma Roberts.
and you don't have that whole follow-up hospital scene. But I do like, the attempt to try, he's got the letter and he's covering all the fingerprints and he's putting
Hmm.
the gun in everybody else's hands and he's getting it all set up, and like, I think an admirable effort by a 12-year-old to cover up
Oh,
a
yeah.
just a multiple homicide. Like, what, how many
Yeah.
people? Four people dead now at that point, with Ricky, Jeremy, Ashley, and Garrett. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really good that I knew their names.
The one thing, yeah, good job on that.
Thank you.
That I will maybe give him a little bit of shit for in his plan, other than like, the murder and all that. Um, if he was asleep the whole time, he can't act as a witness to connect the dots, which I think would cause the police to do more investigating. Now, if he would have done a Jill Roberts situation and beat the shit out of himself and made it look like he was attacked and survived, then he could have been like, oh my gosh, this guy fucking showed up when we were watching a movie. And, like, I know Garrett wasn't supposed to be over, but he came to hang out. Like, he could have like filled in like all these blanks, and they probably would have believed him because he's a fucking rich white kid who's 12, So I think that may have been the smarter angle to go with, but what is the last thing that he runs down for that he forgets? He's like got everything set up, and then he's like,
It's the pencil on the door.
the pencil on the door. Yeah, he goes, oh shit, the pencil. And he's like trying to get it.
But then
Oh,
it's like, or I guess they clean it up, and because I was like, wasn't it still just covered in Ricky guts, Ricky mouth guts? But I think they clean it
no,
up and try to
he
sharpen it down.
switches to a
Pencil.
different pencil. Or no, no,
Uh,
no. Okay. He sharpens the yucky pencil and puts that one back because it's a very specific pencil that his mom uses. And then he takes a new pencil and kind of pokes it into Ricky's face to get the blood and guts on it,
right, right, right,
and puts it
right.
down on the ground. Yeah.
And then I was thinking, oh, okay, because I was thinking like, oh, maybe he couldn't get the pencil to work because he had sharpened it so much and it's not as long as it was
Mm.
anymore, and like maybe that's why he's like, fuck, I'm having trouble with it now. But
No,
no,
I think he just can't. Like, how would you
it
do
just had
that?
to do that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you get like physics is not going to let you do that. So he just has
yeah,
to fucking climb out that window. I love when he almost drops the reindeer and catches it. That's really
yeah.
fun. And the
Good
conversation
reflex.
that's going on between the parents, like he says something and she's like, if you're talking about sex, she's like, that is not going to happen.
I know
I
she
love
is.
that.
I know,
She
but
says she's so full after dinner.
yeah, like I said, just kind of like how quickly, and then you find out like, hey, we've got a survivor, and then we cut, and then it
Mm-hmm.
turns out, the long, you know, the what's it called? I don't know. Don't worry about me. I'll edit it out.
Long con? Is that what you're like? You're talking about her taping up her neck wounds?
No, it's okay. I'm thinking about what's it called. There's that phrase where it's one thing that's introduced that Chekhov's gun, but it's like Chekhov's duct tape.
Oh yeah, because he says duct tape can be used for so many different things, and she uses the duct tape to stop the bleeding.
So Garrett must have gotten at least one hand free so she could use
Mm-hmm.
the duct tape to cover, when she got stabbed, which good for
Yeah,
her being very, very fucking quiet and
and
or thinking that
fast.
like and fast because
Ooh.
that's a lot. But yeah, just her just flipping him off on the way out, like while
Mm-hmm.
she's being out on the stretcher, I thought was very good. I liked that and was consistent with her flipping a couple people off throughout the movie.
Yeah.
So I
And they give you a tease. They give you a tease of him, pulling a Jill Roberts at the hospital because he says he wants to go and visit her. Is that in the post-credit scene that happens, or
yeah.
it's in the movie? Yeah, he's like, I want to go see Ashley in the hospital, visit her, make sure she's okay.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, and I wonder where that sequel could have went. Because I mean, if she got like cut like in the throat, maybe it'd be hard for her to talk at first,
That's
So
true.
I feel like that would set up what that sequel would look like. So I don't know. But geez, I
I
mean, I
honestly could
don't
watch that kid do something crazy to another babysitter. Like, you
yeah.
doesn't even have to be Ashley. Like, it could be someone else. If he goes and kills her at the hospital, and then, he still has a babysitter when he's like 15.
Yeah. Just
Because
when
yeah,
when he's in his 20s.
the way that his mom, like, I mean, it's okay for a mom to like comfort. Like, I think in that situation it'd be totally normal. It's his expression that is so strange to me. Like, he makes this like this genuine, like, I don't know, it just looks so like innocent and weird and creepy at the same time, like when he's being held by his mom. I don't know. He's
Yeah.
yeah, that is some weird fucking behavior. That kid is wonky. But yeah, I think this movie is a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think so too. And gosh, it's a pretty brisk one. I mean, that brings us up to
Mm-hmm.
the end.
Yeah.
Um, let me see. So what's the tagline situation for this movie?
It only has one, and I really like it.
Okay.
You might be home, but you're not alone.
I
They
like it.
really ran with the Home Alone.
And it really like isn't I mean, yeah, I guess it's because he has like traps and such with
Well,
well, I mean,
it's misleading too, like because they want you to think that it's a home invasion film, which is great. Like I think that's what makes it so fun. Even like the cover art is Ashley and Luke, and she's got the knife. Like, it looks very much like they're together, being attacked. So I think they did a really good job of that. And this movie has a really high rating on Rotten Tomatoes. It has an 89%, which is great. And I feel like more people should watch it. I feel like I should recommend it to more people. Whenever people ask me movies to watch, I don't think of this one because it takes place during Christmas, but I would recommend this movie to anyone, really.
because nothing about it is specifically Christmassy, other than some of the decorations,
Mm-hmm.
and
Well, the
so it's like
carolers.
the carolers. So it's
Oh,
like
but then he
you
puts on the
can,
Christmas sweater to watch the carolers too. Because he wasn't wearing the Christmas
yeah,
sweater, and then he just pops that on.
I know what a oh Jesus
Little
Christ, this kid,
shit.
he's a what a little shit. Um, no, I think that's a good tagline. I like it.
Yeah, it's good. Just the one.
And anything else you want to talk about before we throw out some booze?
No, I think I said all the things.
Yeah. So I'll start.
Yeah.
Okay. Um,
Who chose this one?
I did.
Yeah, I think you
Pretty
did.
sure.
Did I choose Krampus?
Maybe.
I don't remember.
Sorry if you did. I think we just threw in camp. It was just the Tony Collette
Yeah,
connection.
the Tony Collette connection, and and Christmas. Yeah.
So, it all worked out. And yeah, this gosh, and then with the guy from Trick or Treat, like, man, I feel like mm, missed opportunities. I feel like that movie should have gone a little harder, but that's okay.
Oh, for
We already
sure.
we already talked
We
about
already
that.
talked about that.
We already talked
Yeah.
about that last week.
New
Um,
new movie.
but I do think this movie is okay. I feel like we're always kind of torn a little bit between like a 3 and a 3.5 on certain
Mm-hmm.
things. That is where I would put this movie. Let me just say, let me lean 3.5. I think it's really fun. I think it is. I told you I struggle a lot with holiday horror movies. And so this one, yeah, I think Default might be one of my favorite Christmas horror movies, if not, top three probably. Because I'm just trying to think like immediately what comes to mind. If we,
I
and
know.
it depends what we want to count, But I do think there's, again, I just don't, like the non Michael Keaton Jack Frost and like Santa's Sleigh and like those types of movies. I
Do you
just
consider
don't really.
Gremlins to be a Christmas movie?
Hmm.
Takes place during Christmas.
Yeah, Gremlins would be, he's and then that
Gremlins
immediately
is
puts
in my
Gremlins up there.
top Christmas movies.
So
Usually watch it every couple of years.
yeah, so I'm gonna go 3.5. I just, the twist is fine. It's enjoyable and it
Mm-hmm.
just really just yeah, that opportunity. I just thought that the woman that played Ashley was just really great and really fun and just really
Yeah.
just energetic and this fuck you attitude the whole time. Like
Mm-hmm.
I think even
Love her.
it's just I think like of her and from Samara Weaving, from Ready or
Mm.
Not, where it's like, even when they're like looking like down and out, they really never exude like that they
No.
are like that this is over for them. It's like I just always felt like, you know, don't worry, dude, she's gonna fucking fight back, and you're getting fucking wrecked, dude. So
Mm-hmm.
even when they try that kind of fake out at the end, I just knew like, dude, she just kept fucking keeps on keeping on, and
Yeah.
this kid is I mean, even Garrett, fuck Garrett. I hate Garrett, but that means,
Fuck
but the
Garrett.
guy was doing
Ugh.
such a good job of making Garrett hateable that, hey, it's good acting is good acting. But yeah,
Yeah, I
the
think
kid
all
that
the
played
acting
Luke,
is good in this.
yeah, all the acting is fantastic. I, just Virginia Madsen, cool it with the homophobia. I know it's not her, it's the
It's not her.
character. I know, but
Poor
I,
Virginia.
I know she's fantastic. Yeah, I don't know. So yeah, I'll 3.5. That's where I'm at. I think this is a fun. I would really
Mm.
recommend this. If anybody wants to, if someone comes to me and says, I want to watch a Christmas horror movie, this will 10 out of 10, I think, or 9 out of 10 be what I suggest.
Hmm.
I mean, yeah, I mean, if like I just, unless you really want to count, yeah, like Gremlins. But I feel like this is more of a it Gremlins doesn't like advertise itself as a Christmas movie. Like you don't look at the poster for Gremlins and see anything Christmas related on it.
Isn't there one where he's in a box, like in a Christmas present box
Shit,
on
I'm
the
gonna
movie
act like
poster?
I'm gonna look like a complete fucking asshole. No, like I'm thinking,
Oh, maybe he's just in a regular
yeah.
box. Maybe it's just a regular box.
Oh no, you're right. Well, yeah, I mean it's coming out of a regular box, but no, I was thinking of the one with Gizmo on the front where it's him and then you the shadow of the gremlin behind him.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one I'm thinking of. As I was like, I don't think
That's
he's
the
wearing like a
most well known, yeah.
Christmas hat, but
There's
I
some good movie posters for Gremlins. So I'm getting distracted.
I know. Oh, well, and that's funny because now I'm looking at posters for Gremlins 2, the
I
new
love
batch.
Gremlins 2 is actually one of my like top favorite movies.
Gremlins
I
2. Gremlins, speaking of fucking going hard, Gremlins 2 goes real hard.
It has
I
so
I love
many
that movie.
funny jokes. Like the jokes are fucking hilarious. Like the humans are funnier than the gremlins. Um
Let's see if we can wait until next Christmas for Gremlins.
yeah. So I have a lot of trouble like I have to really, really love a movie to give it a 4 or a 5, like for a long time. So this movie has only been out for 7 years. I don't remember when we actually watched it. Um, wait, 7 years, 6 years, math.
Yeah.
Um,
And it was even made, I think it was like filmed like a year and a half before it actually even came out. So
oh
it's,
wow, okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I really, really love it. I think it's super entertaining, super fun. I'm between a 3.5 and a 4, so I was a little bit higher than you were, but I feel like I reserve the 4s for something I either like really, really loved and watch a lot or is like in my top favorite movies. This one's pretty close. I'm gonna give it a 3.5 for now, but I think that this one, like with how much I've enjoyed it every time I've watched it, which I think I've seen it 3 times. I like it more each time I watch it. So I feel like it could grow into a 4 over time, but I'm going to give it a 3.5 for now.
Yeah, I think you said it perfectly. I think
Yeah.
with
The
time
longevity.
I'm only going to love this movie more, you
Yeah.
know, and it's
It's very
yeah.
timeless too, because it doesn't like there's no technology or anything like that. Like it's, I mean, the cell phones, but like that's neither here nor there. Like it's, yeah, just really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gosh.
Now we're done talking about Christmas movies. We're not going to hear any more of
Yeah,
that.
I know. Yeah, I know. We're just fucking going full steam ahead to the end of the year.
Ooh,
Anything
coming in
else?
hot.
I know. Anything else you want to say about Better Watch Out?
No, no, I love it. I hope you watched it before you listen to us spoil it. And I'm going to commit to recommending this movie to more people. That's going to be my commitment for, you know what, that's going to be my New Year's resolution.
Is just to recommend this movie
Just
specifically to more
recommend this
people.
movie specifically to more people because I feel like I feel like most people ask me what movies to watch in October. And so I lose sight of this one a lot. So from now on, I'm going to start planning ahead. I'm gonna be like, you know what? I need you to think ahead to December. This is the movie for you.
I like that. Or someone asks you in October, be like, I have a full calendar of movies for you to watch.
Yeah, do you like? I've got one for every holiday, every season.
And now an illustrious podcast to
To match, I did plug every movie that we've done an episode on the list.
yeah, that's my New Year's resolution is I'm not telling anyone shit unless it gets me a listen. So
So
on our
when they say,
analytics
"What did you
page,
think about this movie?" You know what? You're going to need to go and listen to my episode on this movie.
yeah, you're gonna have to go listen to me ramble for 2 hours. First half an hour about something has nothing to do, barely
That's
anything to
great.
do, and then us just just barreling through a movie.
We're
And
definitely we're definitely ahead on this, but I think another resolution we can add to both of us is just more shameless promotion of the podcast. Like, you know what? If you see us on the street or in person, we're just going to tell everyone about it. I think that needs to be done. And with that being said, if you've been listening to this and you haven't given us a review or followed or subscribed, do that. Do that now. Do it as soon as you're finished. But only good reviews. We'll only accept 5 stars. That's the
if
rules.
there's a way to delete the rest, I'll figure it out. What
Um,
benefit does it give you to give us a shitty review?
yeah, just don't review. If you're not enjoying this and you're still listening to it this far in the episode, then that's on you. That's not
Yeah,
our
that's it.
fault.
That is a you problem,
Yes,
100%.
absolutely.
All
100%.
right. Well, with that, tis the season. Be kind to each other. I don't know. And then yeah, we'll see y'all next week. We're wrapping up with a couple things. I know definitely we're gonna do our end of year review, so that'll be exciting. Gosh, if you thought we go on tangents, oh, we're gonna just those the bonus ones are our most tangent filled. So
Yeah, it's important
sorry.
that you get those tangents. You get one more movie. We've got The Frighteners.
Yeah, that's true.
One
So
more.
yeah. Okay. Well, you know, um, Merry Christmas if you celebrate. If you have, you know, yeah, or whether it's Kwanzaa or whether it's Hanukkah or any other holiday, just like please, yeah, just
Or if you just say pish posh to all that, that's fine too.
yeah, yeah, just fucking, just get the fuck out with all of it. Like you can be a
Okay.
Scrooge, please. That
Yeah.
doesn't make you a Scrooge. Don't get on me about this.
Yeah.
So
You could
I'm
be a
sorry.
Grinch. I like the Grinch better than Scrooge because the Grinch he just fucking hates people. Good for him.
Mm, yeah, but so does Scrooge. He hates people too.
You know what? Good for both of them.
Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. Okay.
They're living the dream.
Take care, everybody. Three, two, one, ghost.
Thanks for listening to our episode on Better Watch Out. If you've made it this far, our greatest holiday wish would be a 5-star review, a follow on Instagram at 321GhostPod, and of course, for you to continue to listen because we're so grateful for all of you. You can reach us by emailing 321ghostpod@gmail.com to tell us what you'd like to hear about, whether it be a movie, TV show, or any other spooky topics. Next week, we're chatting about our last movie of the year with The Frighteners. No more Christmas horror till next year. Thanks again for listening, and remember, if you think you need to stage a break-in to get a girl horny, she definitely does not want to fuck you. And fancy ornaments are for everyone. Merry Christmas and happy holidays, y'all. 3, 2, 1, ghost.